Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Ayush. In this lecture, we are going to be learning about lists and tuples. And also we are going to do some questions so that we can have some practice on it. So let's start our topic. The first topic is the list. So what are lists in Python? So what are lists? So a list is a built-in data type that stores a set of values. So those values can be a string, can be a float, can be can be an integer, right? For example, also it can store element of different types, as I said, integer, float, string, etc. For example, there is a marks variable over here, and for making list, what you are using is a square bracket, right? Make sure it's a square bracket, then it's a string, means it's a list, right? So inside it, there are many integers with commas. So this is a list. Anything which contain inside brackets, the square brackets, especially the square brackets, right? So here is a variable student, and in the square bracket we have current, comma 85, comma Delhi, right? So in list there can be of different data types. Like for example, here we have in the student case we have string and an integer, right? Also, we can access a part of the list using this thing, students square bracket 0. Let us do one example of it so that everything is clear. For example, let me take the variable as a, and this is an list. And what if I want to access a part of this string? Let's suppose I want to access the first digit, that is the 0th index, right? This is 0 and this is 1, right? If I want to access the 0th index, what would I do? A of 0. Like this, I can access a part of the string. If I want Mohan, I can write 1 in my square bracket, then I can access Mohan, right? This can go on, like for example, let's take one other name, Aina, inside the square brackets. See, and also access that. What if we are accessing the fifth index? So as you can see, there is no fifth index over here. What will the output giving? There would be an error. The error is list index out of range. So the fifth index doesn't contain, that's why it's showing an error, right? Also, the next thing is this: the list is mutable. What does mutable means? That it can get changed. We can change the value. So in string, we have seen that it's an immutable. We can't change the value. But in list, it's mutable, means it can change the value. I will show you once. Also, length is a function. You can also use length in our list to find the length of the variable or the list length, right? Now let's do slicing of the list. So slicing is accessing a part of a variable that is called as slicing. It's similar to string slicing. right? For example, here they have taken marks equal to, this is a list because it's in a square bracket with comma separated. And if we want to access 1 is to 4, let me show you how this is done. Let me clear this out. If I want to access, let's suppose this is a string which I am making as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is a string, this is a list. And if I want to access a part of this, what would I do? As print 1 is to 4. Okay. Print A of, let's suppose, 1 is to 4. Then what would it be printing? So we know the first index is 2, 2 will be printed. Second digit is a 3. Third digit is 4. But the fourth digit won't be printed. 5 won't be printed. It would be excluded, right? Let's print it. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the output is also in a list format. Why? Because we are using list here. That's why the output is also in list format, right? What if I am not giving the ending value 1 is to blank? What will this print? This will be printing till last. Empty, something empty means it's an infinity. Suppose it's 4 here and this part is empty. The first digit is empty. Then it would be printing from the first digit. From the 0th index, it would be printing because that is infinity. From infinity till 4. But the fourth digit won't be printed, one would be excluded. And now we are doing, yeah, this thing is done. Now coming to list methods. What are the methods can do? Okay, so these are some of the list methods. For example, here is a list with brackets 2 comma 1 comma 3. Now these are the functions like append, sort, reverse, insert. These are the functions. As we have seen in the string, there are also many functions they have used. Here also there's functions. Right. For list, there's list.append. What does this do? Let's add one element at the end. Let's suppose if we want to add 4, what would we do there? So we use list.append. It would be adding one digit last. Let's do one example. 2 comma 3 comma 4. This is a list. What if I want to append it? Means I want to add a digit, at the end. Let's suppose the adding, I would add 5 at the last. If I want to add 5 at the last, what would I do? I would just run it. Wait, let me clear this out. I will print this. Let me run this. Yeah. So in the last digit, the 5 has been added to the list, right? Like this, we can add anything in our list. Let's suppose we are adding uh, any other digit as you wish. For example, 6. It would be adding 6, right? This is easy. Now, next thing is sort. What does sort do? It sort our list in ascending order. For example, let's suppose This is some random numbers in the list. And if I want to sort this, what I would do is sort. We will use sort as a function and we will print that, right? And we would print A. What will be the output? Yeah, we have got in the ascending order. It has been sorted. The list has been sorted. So that is a function of sort. What if I want to reverse the order? If I want it in ascending order, then what I would do is I would use reverse in the bracket. I will use reverse is equal to true. In this case, what it will be printing from the descending order, not from the ascending order. Right. Now this has been done. Now list dot reverse. What it just reverse the list. In sorting, it sorts the value. Also, if we write in the brackets reverse equal to true, it will be descending the order. But when we use reverse, it would be reversing the list, not the order. Right. Let's do this. Reverse. Right. It would be reversing the order. See, the 5 at the ending has been came to the first here, and the 4 at the beginning has came to the end. Right. Like this, 6 was the second last. It has came to the second first. Second. Right. So this has been sorted. Means it has been reversed. The list has been reversed. Like also there is one more, that is insert function, in which we can insert any element at an index. Right. So those are some of the functions that we use, right? And also, what if, okay, in this example, we have using integers. Let's suppose we are using strings. So how to write string inside this square brackets? How can we write? We can also use double quotes, or we can use single quotes as you wish. I'm using single quotes, right? Or else we can use double quotes. Let's write double quotes. Let's suppose we are sorting A, B, C, D, right? So A, comma, B, comma, E, comma, B. Let us sort this. So A dot sort. Sort is a function, right? And we will print this. Let's run this. So here you go. The list has been sorted. So this is how you can sort any list that contains string value, right? Now let's do one thing. Let in this case I have given the value. Let's take input from the user. String. Let's take string from the user. Let's do that. To how to write that code. Let's suppose I'm taking a number. Let's suppose number equal to how to take input from the user, which should be string, and also the string. It should not be a string. It should be an integer. How to take that? So I'm taking list map integer because I'm using integer input. Enter your number. What would I do next is enter your number dot split. That's it. And let's just print this. Print number, right? Let's clear this up. Okay, it has been cleared. Now, what does this means? This whole thing. Firstly, just run this. Yeah, enter your number. So we are entering a number in the list. Make sure you give proper spacing in between them. 2 comma 3 comma 5 comma. Let's suppose we are giving some random numbers. So yeah, this has been given the list. The list has been printed. So this is how you can take input from the user, which is a list. Like, so let's break it down how we have written this code, right? So number is a variable, we know, equal to list. We are using list. If we are using tuple, which I would tell you what is that. If we are using tuple, we would write tuple here. And what does map means? Map is that we want our number that is coming in the output as integer, not in the string. If we are not using map there, it would be directly giving the values in the string format. Okay, and we know it's an integer and we have taken the input. And what does dot split bracket means? It will be splitting the value in commas, right? That is what we have broken it down. And if I want to take, okay, in this case, it's for integer. Let's suppose we are taking the value for some string. How to take that? So let's suppose fr equal to input, boom, enter your number. Oh, sorry, it's not a number. Enter your names dot split. Now that is wrong. Split bracket, yeah. And let's print this out. Now just run this. Enter your names. Let's suppose I, Mohan, John, Pork. Let's run this. Yeah. So those things has been came into in the form of list, right? So this is how you can take input from the user, which is a list. How you can take input, right? So these things has been cleared, I guess. And this is some more list, like list dot remove one. It would remove the first occurrence of the element. Like for example, there's a list a equal to square brackets 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 1 comma 2 1 comma 2. Okay, this is a list a dot remove. Make sure I'm giving the value that is at, not at the indexing value, right? For example, I want to remove 1, then I would put 1 here and I would print this out. Then 1 would be removed. Wait, yeah, list. Okay, where is it? Like, so the first occurrence would be removed, right? Next thing is pop. It would be removing element at index. Anything index I would be giving like 0, that index value would be removed, right? That is done here. Now coming to tuples. What does tuple means? So it is also a built-in data type. that let us create immutable. What does immutable means? That cannot be changed further, right? For creating tuple, we can use parenthesis, means the normal brackets, parenthesis, right? This is how tuples are being created, and this is how you can, but you can't change the value. Like for example, I am changing the value of index 0 to 43. You can't do this in tuples, but you can do it in lists, because those are mutables and tuples are immutables, right? And these are some methods of tuple. Let's suppose this is a tuple, and index is a function. So tuple dot index el, it would return index of first occurrence, right? So tuple dot index 1 would be 1, right? Where is the first occurrence? So 0, 1, right? Tuple dot count el, el would be something, right? Variable name or something. So it counts the total occurrence. Let's suppose like tuple dot count bracket 1 is 2, right? How many times 1 is getting? 2 times. 2 times there are 1 in our tuple, right? So these are some tuples. Also, okay, while writing tuple, make sure if you are writing tuple, if you are making tuple, make sure that you are using commas, one comma. Let's suppose I am not using comma here and I am printing the tuple. What would be the item? It would be printing, but let's print the type of tuple. Type of, it would be giving the value. It will be giving the value 1, but what's a type? It's an integer. But we have created here, it's a tuple. How to do convert this into tuple? By using comma. One comma. Now it is a tuple. But let's suppose I'm making some big digits over here. Should I add tuple here? Should I add the comma here? Let's run it. Still, it's a tuple. So if it's a big number you're using in a tuple, you don't have to give comma at the last. But if it's a single digit, you have to give comma, right? Otherwise, it's an integer, it's not a tuple, right? Okay. Now, now let us do some questions. I think that's right. Yeah. Now let us do some questions. Everything is covered. Let us do some questions, right? So here, the question is, we have to take name of 3 favorite movies as you wish and store them in a list. So we know how to take input from the user, right? Which is an how we have already seen how to take input in the form of list, right? And we have to store it in a list. Okay, so it would be giving you the value in list. So what we have to just do is take input from the user and just print that, right? Because we have seen the code earlier how to do that, right? So what should we do here is we would take a name of a variable. Let's suppose move equal to input, enter your let's suppose I'm storing my name, or else they are saying movie, I would say, let's suppose animals. Animals, enter your animals. We are storing the animals in the form of lists. Okay, last, we just have to write dot split and we will just print this out. Print MOV. Let's run this. Now let's enter your animal. It was showing that enter three animals or three movies. Let's suppose it's an animal. Let's suppose it's a dog. First is a dog, then it's a cat, then other animal should be fish. It's a fish is an animal. Yeah. Yeah. So we have stored this in the form of list. So rather than writing this code like this, you can also write this code in one more way. But this way is more easier, it's more comfortable, but there's one more way you can write. You can choose whatever you want. This would be more easier compared to the other one. This would be more easy. Still, let's write the other code. How to write that? So for that, what I would do is I would make an empty list. How to make that? Let's suppose movie or so we are taking animals, right? Animals equal to bracket. So this is an empty list over here, which I'm not assigning value because see, okay, first I will write the code, then I would explain, right? So, okay, now we have to take three name of animals. So let's suppose A equal to input, enter your first animal. Second animal, third animal. So I have taken the input from the user, A, B, and C. These are the three animals. Now I have to store this inside the list. So how can I do this? So we have already made an empty list over here. So how can I add these three animal name into this thing? So we have studied a function called append, right? From this, what I can do is animal dot append A, animal dot append B, animal dot append C, right? Like this, I can add these three animals into these lists. Let's do this. So animal dot append, I'm adding first A, then animal dot append B, then I'm adding animal dot append C. So yeah, I've added these into the empty list. Now what I would do is finally print it. Print the animals. Okay, let's clear this up. Yeah, clear this up. Let's run the code. Let's take the first animal name. Let's suppose the first animal is a dog. Second is a pork. Third is a beta. Beta. fish. So here you go. It has been stored it in the form of a list. So this is also how you can take input from the user and store it into an empty list, and you can append that value one by one. But it's a long code. You can do either this or either the first one as you wish. Right? Which one is more easy? You can do that. Okay, so this questions has been done. Now the next question is check if the list contain a palindrome of element. Hint, use copy method. Okay, you can either use this or there's an easier method to find anything which is palindrome or not. That is much easier. Okay, what does palindrome means? So if you read something from the right hand side or the left hand side, it would be same, right? For example, ma'am, M. So if you read it from the right hand side or from the left hand side, it would be same. One more palindrome is Malayalam. If you read it from the right hand side or from the left hand side, it would be same. That is what palindrome is, right? Now, how to check it? Let's write the code. Let's suppose uh, it hasn't. Okay, list. Okay, now let's do one list. List equal to. Let's suppose the list has my name, which is not a palindrome. If the list is equal to list of -1, print it is a palindrome. It is a palindrome. Else print it's not a palindrome. It is not a palindrome. Right. So I know my name is not a palindrome. Let's run this. So yeah, it's a palindrome. Okay, why it is showing like this? Because uh, let's suppose I'm taking the name as ma'am, comma. Let's take more values like Ayush. See, it's not a palindrome. Means the left and the right is not same. Right. Now let's suppose I'm taking numbers. 1. Numbers should not be in curly brackets, means double quotes. Now this is not a palindrome. Let's run this. Yeah, it's not a palindrome. Let's take the palindrome here. Comma 4, comma 3, comma 2, comma 1. Now this is a palindrome. Yeah, it's a palindrome, right? So this is a code to find palindrome in a list, right? Okay, now this question has been done. For example, yeah, this is a palindrome and this is a palindrome. Left side, right hand side. We can even write we can even read from the right hand side or the left hand side. It would be same, right? Now, these are the last two questions. So, the first question is count the number of students with the A grade in the following tuple. So, we can use the function called as count in this tuple, right? Now, let us make this tuple first of all. So, suppose that's a grade over there, grade equal to, we are taking tuple, so C, first one was C, like this, C comma D, A, A, B, comma B, comma A. Let's suppose this is a tuple over here, and I want to print A grade dot count. Count is a function over here. What I have to count is A. So it would count how many A's are there. So there are three A's in my tuple. First, second, third, right? Also, what if in this case I have assigned the value of tuple? What if I am the user want to enter the value of tuple? Same as this list, how list works, same as that. So grade equal to tuple input, enter your grade, enter your grade dot split bracket. Let's run this. The main thing that you want to focus here is proper spacing over here. So A comma B comma something. Let's run this. There are two A's in my tuple. So that is one, and here you go, two. There are two A's. So this is how you can take tuple from the user, means the input from the user which is a tuple, right? Same as the list, right? So this question has been completed. Now the second question, store the above value in a list and sort them from A to B. So same, you have to take this thing and you have to sort. How you can do this? By the sort function. Easy, right? So boom, boom, boom. Let me go to the previous one. Yeah. So let us sort this. So for this, what I can do? Okay. Also, they have said stored it in string, not in tuple. Let's store this in list, not in tuple. Yeah. Now I just want to sort it. Then print grade dot sort. Yeah. Now it would be sorting. Why it is coming in none? Because yeah, because this is a function, means this we have written is in a double quotes. That's why it's coming in a none value. Okay. So for this question has been done. Yeah, you can easily sort. Now, yeah, everything has been cleared, I guess. Mm, yeah, everything has been done. Yeah. So I hope everything has been understood. List has been understood. What are list? Is it mutable or immutable? Done. List slicing. We have seen some slicing of list and some methods, some functions like append, sort, reverse equal to true, reverse, insert, some methods, tuple, what are tuples, some methods and some questions. Right. So those these things has been cleared. I think you have enjoyed the video. That's it for the lecture number 3. Let's see you in the lecture number 4 with dictionaries and all those things. So that's it. Hope you like this video. Thank you.